Alright, this is episode 1 of a new build series I'm doing. I will be taking my 2005 Subaru Forester XT automatic and I will be swapping a 2005 Subaru STI engine and drivetrain. I have all the parts needed to get it done, so it should be pretty interesting once it's done. Alright, in these first couple of episodes I'm going to be stripping down the engine. It's got a leaking head gasket, so that's going to have to be repaired before we do anything else. I'm going to be upgrading things as I go, mostly with like JDM parts and stuff because that's how I roll. So it should be pretty interesting. So I'm gonna go and get started. Okay, I already have the block stripped down, the intake manifolds off, all the accessories are off. The next step to do now is to take off the crankshaft pulley. Best way to do that is to take this Company 23 tool. This will hold the crankshaft pulley in place so I can break the bolts off. Okay, with the timing covers off, the next thing I need to do is to put the engine in top dead center. In order to do that, I put the crankshaft bolt back in, threaded it back in so I can rotate the engine. And then you're going to want to line up these marks. The first notch there with the notch on the oil pump housing. Over here on the side, this upper notch here, the notch on the side down here, this center one, on the other side, same thing, upper notch, down here on the side notch, and in the middle. Okay, once it's in top dead center, the next thing we're going to concentrate on is removing the camshaft pulleys, both the intake and exhaust. And this is arguably the hardest part of this job, is going to be getting these bolts off without stripping them. So I have a couple of methods I'm going to do that, and a couple of special tools to try and hopefully make the job a little bit easier. Okay, to make things easier on myself, I'm going to put a little bit of heat into the bolt. Take the Company 23 cam tools to hold the cam pulley into place while I break the bolt. Then I'm going to take some valve grinding compound. I'm going to put that on the 10mm Allen. Valve grinding compound is like liquid sandpaper. It's gonna really grip and prevent that bolt from stripping. Alright, with all the camshaft bolts loose, next I'm going to be removing all of the timing belt components and the timing belts. I'm going to take off all the idlers, the tensioner, the belts, and then once all that's off, I'm going to be taking off the camshaft pulleys themselves. They have oil in them, so put them on a rag whenever you put them away if you're going to save them. And then after that, I'm going to remove the rear timing covers. And then in order to get this one off, you'll probably have to remove the tensioner bracket back here as well. Okay, with the front section of the engine done, I'm going to start by cleaning up the top here a little bit. I'm going to begin by removing these oil lines on both sides, the solenoids, and then some of these water lines, just to get everything cleaned up. Alright, with everything cleaned off, we can go ahead and start taking off the coil packs and the valve cover. Alright, with the valve cover off, we can continue to start breaking this down. This front section here is going to come off as one piece, and when you're breaking off these cap bolts here, sometimes they can be on there pretty tight, and you can strip them pretty easily. So when you break these off, put like a little bit of pressure just to make sure you don't strip them. And then for these over here, so I can remember exactly where it was, since I am going to be reusing this stuff, I like to put a T on this one to denote that it's the top one, and a B for this one to denote that it's the bottom one. Alright, in order to get this front cover off, I'm just going to lightly tap back here with a hammer in order to break the camshaft seal so I can pull it off. Alright, from here there's a couple ways to do this. Since I'm just doing a head gasket job, I'm going to be reusing all these buckets, and so I need to put them back in the exact same location I took them out from. So in order to do that, I'm going to label them. Now you can label it how, you know, whatever way that you can remember. The way I do it is I numbered 1 through 8, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I put a P next to that to denote that this is the passenger side head, and that's just how I remember to do it. And then after I pull the buckets out, I'm going to start by breaking the head bolts off. I'm going to start from the outside, work my way in, and then as soon as I break those off, the head's pretty much ready to come out. Alright, this side's done. Now we just have to go ahead and do the other side. that's it. We're down to the short block. We're finished. In the next video, I'll show you how I break down the heads so I can get them sent off to the machine shop. And then in the next coming videos, I'll show you how I get everything cleaned up, how I start to put everything back together again, and get this wrapped up for the forester swap.